Cars sped along the busy Lagos highway. On the shoulder, a black Bentley stood still, bonnet raised, the sun beating down on its metal frame. Beside it, a tall man in an elegant navy suit wiped sweat from his forehead, worry etched on his face. His name was Maxwell Anderson, a billionaire CEO. His driver and two guards waved frantically at passing cars, hoping for help. A roadside mechanic had tried and failed, and even a tow truck had come and gone. Still, no one could repair it. Then, a faint voice broke through the noise of the crowd. "I can help," it said. Heads turned. From beneath the bridge, a young pregnant woman stepped forward. Her gown was worn and torn, its hem stained with mud. Her natural hair framed her face in disarray. One hand supported her swollen belly as she walked slowly toward them. Some people laughed. Others whispered, "How could a homeless girl fix a billionaire's car?" Maxwell studied her. She looked exhausted and hungry, yet there was something in her eyes, a quiet steadiness, a kind of certainty. "What's your name?" he asked. "Amara," she replied softly. "Please, let me try." One guard moved to block her, but Maxwell raised his hand. "Let her." Amara fixed her clay-brown eyes on the open engine. She did not flinch or hesitate. She placed her hand on the battery hold-down and frowned. "Loose," she murmured. She inspected the ground strap. It was dirty. Carefully, she bent forward despite the weight of her belly, tightened the clamp with swift fingers, and scraped the corroded contact with the edge of a coin until it gleamed. Then she secured it firmly. Running her hand along a thick cable, she discovered a weak connector near the fuse box. She pressed it until it clicked in place. After checking one final wire, she nodded and stepped back. "Try it now." Maxwell slid into the driver's seat and turned the key. The Bentley roared alive, smooth and powerful like a waking lion. The guards gasped. The crowd cheered. A bus driver honked his horn in salute. Maxwell blinked, astonished. He turned to Amara as though she had just performed a miracle. "How did you—" Before he could finish, Amara staggered. Her hand clutched her belly and she nearly collapsed. Maxwell rushed forward, catching her in time. "Please," she whispered, voice trembling. "Don't let them find me." "Who?" Maxwell asked. But her eyes welled with tears before she could answer. And here we pause. Because this moment was not just about a car brought back to life. It was the beginning of Amara's true journey. Long before the Bentley, the crowd, and the heat, there was a young girl in a cheerful workshop. Her name was Amara, and her father was Oina, a beloved mechanic known not just for fixing cars but for warming hearts. He worked with joy, whistling as he repaired engines, laughing with customers, and allowing his daughter to learn beside him. "Engines speak, Amara," he would say. "You must listen carefully." So she did. She learned the hiss of a leaking hose, the cough of a fading battery, the faint click of a loose relay. By 17, Amara could repair a car on her own. People sought her quietly, asking her to revive stubborn engines or temperamental alternators. They paid her small amounts, which she saved in a red tin beneath her bed. With it, she bought soap, notebooks, and small essentials, never wanting to burden her parents. But not everyone admired the brightness in Amara's world. Some men in the workshop felt small in his presence. They whispered, frowning whenever. Customers smiled at a bin. Jealousy grew like a thorn bush. One night, when Amara had just turned 18, shadows arrived at their home. The men wore masks. They broke the door. They did not take phones. They did not take money. They stole peace. There were shouts. 2 gunshots echoed. When the men escaped, the house was silent in a way no home should ever be. Amara held her mother's hand and called her name. She clutched her father's shirt, begging him to wake up. The sun rose, but it did not bring warmth. Then came her father's brother, Uncle Namdi. His face was hard, like a locked gate. He pointed at Amara with cold eyes. "You planned this," he said. "You wanted their money. You called those men." Amara wept. "Uncle, no, I loved them." But he did not listen. He sold the house. He pushed her out. He left her with a bag of clothes and a name buried in shame. The bridge in Oshodi became her roof. The ground became her bed. Night was not quiet there. Night had hands that reached and voices that lied. Amara learned to run. She learned to hide. But one night, she was too slow. Rough hands seized her. She screamed. The world spun. Then darkness. When she woke, her gown was torn, her body in pain. There was no one to help, no one to believe, no one to hold her while she shook. Days turned into weeks, weeks into months. Her belly began to swell. People pointed and mocked her. She stayed silent, crying only when unseen. Then came the morning that changed everything. Amara rose from her place under the bridge and wiped her eyes. The sky was clear. The sun felt heavy. Her stomach was empty. "Maybe someone will bless me today," she whispered. She walked toward the highway, one hand on her back, one on her belly. She saw the black Bentley parked on the shoulder, like a silent giant. A man in a navy suit spoke quickly into the phone. "Board meeting. Data. Breach, I'm almost there." He hung up, rubbing his face. Sweat traced his jaw. He looked like a strong tree in a storm. Amara watched a roadside mechanic poke at the engine and shrug. Another banged a spanner and shook his head. She could hear the car's problem. A simple issue she knew well. "I can help," she said, stepping forward. Now, here we are again, at the roar of the highway. Maxwell stared at Amara over the open door. "Who are you?" he asked softly with wonder. "My name is Amara," she said. "My father taught me. He was a great mechanic until—" Her voice broke, and the story poured out. The workshop, the love, the night of masks, the uncle, the bridge, the attack, the months of pain. She spoke the truth like a river that could not be stopped. Cars hissed past. The guard stood awkwardly, cheeks warm, eyes lowered. Maxwell listened intently. When she finished, he looked at the running Bentley, then back at Amara. "No one could fix my car," he said slowly, "until you came. You saved my day, let me save yours." Amara blinked. "Sir, my name is Maxwell Anderson," he said. "You are safe with me. Get in the car. From today you will not sleep under a bridge again." One guard cleared his throat. "Sir, with respect, bringing a stranger." Maxwell turned. "She is not a stranger. She is Amara. She is brave." She was clever. "Unlock the back door," she said. The guard obeyed, though still uncertain. Amara looked at the open door and pressed her belly. The seat looked soft, too soft for someone used to sleeping on concrete. She moved closer, then stopped. A faint glint under the front fender caught her eye. She crouched carefully. Tied to the frame rail was a small box with a red light, partly hidden by dust. Wires ran from it into the section she had just repaired. Amara's heart raced. She had seen a device like this once at the workshop, a trick designed to make a good car fail. Her father had called it a trap for proud men. She scanned the crowd. A black SUV rolled to a slow stop behind the Bentley. Its windows were dark. The driver's door opened, and a man stepped out. A cap shaded his eyes, but on his wrist was a leather band burned with a single letter, N. The sight struck Amara like lightning. "Uncle Numbi?" No, this man was younger, stronger. Yet the mark pulled her back to a terrible memory, a hand with the same band gripping her father's shirt on the night of the gunshots. Amara shot to her feet. "Mr. Maxwell, wait!" she cried, pointing at the box. "Don't drive! Someone—" "Set this up." The guards reached for their radios. The man by the SUV paused, then started walking toward them, steady and deliberate. Maxwell followed Amara's hand to the device. His jaw tightened as he stepped toward the bonnet. The box blinked twice. Amara grabbed his sleeve. Please, she whispered, her voice trembling. Step back. The highway grew silent. The crowd pressed closer. The SUV door stayed open. The man with the N on his wrist kept moving, his gaze fixed on Amara as though he recognized her. The Bentley's engine ticked and hummed, alive and strong, while the little red light blinked faster and faster. Each flash cut the air like a drumbeat. Tick, tick, tick. Maxwell narrowed his eyes. What is that? He asked, stepping forward. Amara held his sleeve tighter. It's not part of your car, she said firmly. It's a device planted to make it fail. If you had kept driving, it could have ruined. The engine, or worse. The guards reacted quickly. One spoke urgently into his radio, while another pulled Maxwell back. The crowd gasped. Some pressed in, others backed away from the flashing box beneath the Bentley. Then the man with the N on his wrist stepped into full sunlight. Amara froze. The leather band, the burned mark. Her chest rose and fell quickly as memories of that night returned. Her parents' deaths, the sound of gunfire, her father falling. She had seen that band before. Her voice broke. It's them, she whispered. The same people. Maxwell turned sharply. What do you mean? Amara's lips trembled. Her hand slid protectively over her belly. The man smirked and walked closer, ignoring the guards and the crowd. Sir Anderson, he called in a heavy voice, step aside. That girl belongs to me. Amara shivered. Maxwell stepped in front of her. Yours. She is not yours. Who are you? The man tilted his head. Who I am doesn't matter. What matters is, she should never have touched your car. His eyes locked on Amara. We warned you before, didn't we? Amara's knees nearly gave way. Her heart pounded. This was not a stranger. This was linked to her family's tragedy. The guards raised their weapons. Step back, one ordered, but the man only laughed, raising his hand slowly. Do you think money can shield you, Anderson? This girl carries a curse, and now you've brought her into your world, the crowd murmured. Phones were raised to record. On Lagos highways, such drama always drew attention. Maxwell's jaw tightened. His voice cut through the noise. Remove that device. Arrest him. The man did not move. Instead, he tapped the leather band twice. The red light blinked solid, then went out. A sharp pop followed by smoke burst from under the bonnet. The crowd screamed and stumbled back. Guards pulled Maxwell away. Amara cried out, shielding her belly. When the smoke cleared, the device was gone, reduced to ash. The man gave a mocking bow. You're welcome. I saved your car from exploding. But next time, Anderson, don't take in strays. He turned and walked back to the SUV. One guard raised his gun. Should I shoot, sir? Maxwell held up a hand. No, not yet. His eyes burned with controlled anger. I need to know why they targeted me, and why she knows them. The SUV roared to life and sped into Lagos traffic. The crowd buzzed with noise, but Maxwell's focus stayed on Amara. He gently lifted her chin. You knew him, didn't you? Tell me everything. Now. Tears ran down Amara's cheeks. She nodded slowly, her eyes fixed. That band on his wrist. I saw it the night my parents were killed, she whispered, her voice trembling. And now, sir, they've found me again. Maxwell inhaled sharply, his gaze shifting toward the highway where the SUV had disappeared. His car was safe, but his world had just collided with a girl carrying a truth far heavier than her shoulders could bear. For the first time in years, Maxwell Anderson, the billionaire who believed he had faced it all, felt fear. This was no longer about a damaged Bentley. It was about a fragile girl holding secrets powerful enough to destroy everything. Her trembling words stayed with him. Please don't let them find me. The ride to Ikoi was silent. The black Bentley moved smoothly, but the atmosphere inside was heavy. Amara sat at the far end of the back seat, her hands tightly placed on her swollen belly. her face pale. Maxwell sat beside her, sharp eyes moving between her and the passing streets. His thoughts raced. Known for power and confidence, the billionaire was unsettled by a girl from under the bridge. She was not just a mechanic's daughter. She was a witness to something that should have been buried. When the Bentley rolled through the golden gates of Maxwell Anderson's mansion, Amara gasped. The house rose like a palace, its lights glowing against the dusk, fountains spraying into the air. Security lined the driveway, and luxury cars shone under the evening sky. Amara clutched her belly tighter. "Sir, I don't belong here." Maxwell turned, his voice softer. "Amara, after today you belong here more than anyone. You saved my life." She shook her head, tears slipping down her face. "I didn't save your life. I only fixed your car." Maxwell leaned closer, his tone steady. "No. You noticed what no one else did, and you saw someone I must know more about. Until I get answers, you're not leaving my side." The guards opened the door. Amara stepped out carefully, her torn gown brushing the marble steps. She felt the eyes of maids, drivers, even the head of security. A poor, pregnant girl standing in the middle of wealth. Whispers began at once. Who is she? A beggar? Why would he bring her here? Maxwell raised his hand, silencing them. "This is Amara. She's under my protection. Treat her with respect." The whispers stopped, though the stares remained. Inside, the mansion glittered with chandeliers. The scent of roses filled the air. Amara blinked at the spotless marble floor, afraid her slippers would leave a mark. A maid offered to take her torn nylon bag. Amara pulled it closer. "No, thank you." Maxwell noticed her unease. "Give her a room in the east wing," he instructed the chief maid. "Everything she needs. Clothes, food, comfort." The maid hesitated, then nodded. "Yes, sir." As Amara was led away, Maxwell's phone buzzed. He stepped aside and answered. "Sir Anderson," a voice said, urgent and low. "The device under your car. It wasn't just sabotage. It was a tracker. Someone was monitoring you." Maxwell's jaw tightened. "Who?" There was a pause before the reply. A name came up. Numbi. Maxwell froze. The same name Amara had whispered in tears. That night, Amara lay on a soft bed for the first time in months. Clean sheets, cool air, silence. Yet her heart couldn't rest. Every time she closed her eyes, she saw the red light blinking, the leather band, her father. Falling, she pressed her face into the pillow and cried quietly, careful not to wake the maid assigned to watch her. A soft knock broke the silence. "Come in," she whispered. The door opened slowly. Maxwell entered, still in his suit, though his tie was loosened. His eyes looked tired. He sat on the edge of the bed. "I need you to tell me everything," he said gently. "About your father, about that night, about this Nambi." Amara's hands shook as she lowered her gaze. "Nambi is my uncle, my father's brother. He hated how respected my father was. The night my parents died, I saw a man wearing that same wristband. I never forgot. When I saw it today, I knew. My uncle blamed me. He said I killed them. Then he threw me out. I had nowhere else to go." Maxwell listened, his face unreadable. "You were a child," he said at last. "They broke you, Amara. But you are not broken anymore. You fixed my car when no one else could. You still hold something they could not take." Amara wiped her tears. "Why are you helping me, sir? You don't even know me." Maxwell looked at her for a long moment. His voice lowered. "Because I understand what it means to lose everything. My wife left me when we discovered we could not have children. My home is filled with gold, yet completely empty of joy. And today, on a busy highway, A girl carrying pain even heavier than mine saved me. Perhaps, just perhaps, God sent you here. Amara's lips parted, but no words escaped. Her chest ached with emotions she couldn't name. Suddenly, bang. The sound tore through the mansion. Guards shouted, boots thundered across the marble floor. Maxwell jumped up. Amara gasped, clutching her. "Stomach, stay here!" Maxwell ordered as he rushed to the door. But Amara, heart pounding, stumbled after him. She knew that sound. She had heard it once before, the night her parents were killed. In the hallway she froze. One of Maxwell's guards lay on the floor, blood spreading across his white shirt. The mansion lights flickered. From the darkness, a voice echoed. "Maxwell Anderson, we warned you. The girl does not belong here." Amara's breath caught. Her nightmare had found her again. Screams rose across the mansion. Guards scattered in every direction, shouting into radios, weapons drawn. Chandeliers swayed as though the house itself trembled with fear. Amara stood, paralyzed, clutching her swollen belly, her body shaking. Maxwell seized her wrist. "Stay close to me," he said sharply. But before she could reply, another blast shook the walls. Glass shattered deeper inside the house. Intruders. Inside. "The compound!" guards yelled. Maxwell pushed Amara behind him as two guards hurried up, one bleeding from his arm. "Sir, they've breached the east fence. They're armed." Amara's knees weakened. The same pattern. Chaos, shouts, then silence, just like the night her parents died. "Who are they?" Maxwell demanded. The guard's face was grim. "They call themselves the Black Crows, mercenaries, paid killers." Amara's chest tightened. "Black Crows," she whispered. "That's them. They worked with my uncle." Maxwell turned sharply, his eyes narrowing. "You're certain?" Amara nodded, tears glistening. "I saw their wristband tonight. It's their mark. Uncle Nundi must have sent them." Maxwell clenched his fists. Rivals had tried to break him with lawsuits and threats before, but this was no business dispute. This was war. His gaze shifted to Amara, the homeless girl who had once fixed his car and now brought deadly enemies to his doorstep. For a moment, doubt flickered. Had he been wrong to trust her? But then he saw her trembling lips, her arms shielding her unborn child, and he knew she was not the enemy. She was their target. "Take her to the safe room," Maxwell ordered. "No, please," Amara cried, panic rising. "Every time I hide, they find me. That's how my parents—" Her words broke into sobs. "I don't want to hide anymore." Maxwell stepped closer, his voice low but steady. "Amara, listen. You've carried this pain too long on your own. But tonight, you're not alone. I'll protect you. I swear it." Tears rolled down her cheeks. Slowly, she nodded. Guards led them toward a hidden steel door behind the staircase. But just before reaching it, the mansion went black. Darkness swallowed the halls. The generator hummed. Emergency lights flickered, but too late. Shadows moved quickly. Masked men in black, rifles raised. "Down!" Maxwell shouted, pulling. Amara behind a marble pillar. Bullets split the air, stone shattering. Guards fired back, shouting commands. Amara crouched low, trembling. "Not again. Not again," she whispered. Then, through the chaos, a voice thundered. "Maxwell Anderson." The mansion fell silent. Even the gunfire stopped. A figure stepped forward from the shadows, tall, broad-shouldered, his mask off. His face was scarred, his eyes ice-cold. On his wrist, the same leather band, marked with the letter N. Amara. Gasped. Her voice cracked. "It's him, the one I saw that night." The man's gaze locked on her. He sneered. "Ah, the girl. I wondered how long you'd survive. Your parents screamed your name before they died. Did you know that? They begged us not to touch you. But orders are orders." Amara's chest rose sharply, her body trembling. "Why? Why did you do it?" The man's grin widened. "Because your uncle wanted the spotlight. and because your father stood in our way. He turned toward Maxwell. And now, Billionaire, she blocks me again. Hand her over, and we'll leave. The silence that followed was heavy, suffocating. The guards glanced nervously at Maxwell. They were outnumbered. Black crows filled the corridors like shadows. Maxwell stepped forward, his voice steady, iron. In his tone, "You'll have to face me first." The man let out a low laugh. "Then you die with her." He raised his hand, and his men lifted their rifles. At that very second, Amara did something no one expected. She stepped from behind the pillar, her pregnant frame shaking but her eyes blazing. "You killed my parents," she cried, her voice cracking through the mansion like thunder. "And now you think you'll take me too? Not this time." The scarred man froze, momentarily caught off guard by her defiance. "Amara, no!" Maxwell shouted, but she was already moving. She bent, grabbed a jagged piece of marble from the shattered floor, and hurled it at the blinking emergency light. Crash! The bulb shattered, sparks raining down. Darkness swallowed the hall. Gunfire erupted in the pitch black. Shouts echoed. Bullets ricocheted. The Black Crows stumbled blindly. Maxwell seized Amara's hand. "Run!" They sprinted through a side passage as chaos tore the mansion apart. Behind them, the scarred man's furious voice roared, "You can run, girl, but you'll never escape. Us!" The corridors shook with the sound of gunfire and shouts. Maxwell dragged Amara into a narrow passage that led down to the basement. Breathless, she stumbled, clutching her belly with one hand while gripping Maxwell's arm with the other. "Just a little further," he urged. They burst into the safe room, a steel-walled chamber hidden beneath the mansion. Guards sealed the heavy door behind them. Silence pressed in, broken only by Amara's ragged breathing. Her face was pale, tears streaking her cheeks. "They'll never stop chasing me," she whispered. "They won't stop until I'm gone." Maxwell knelt before her, hands firm on her shoulders. His voice dropped low, solid as stone. "Amara, listen to me. You are not a curse. You are not a mistake. They fear you because even broken, you are stronger than they are." She searched, his eyes for doubt, but all she saw was fire. Before she could speak, the steel door rattled. A voice thundered outside. It was the scarred leader of the Black Crows. "Maxwell Anderson! Your wealth won't save her. Open the door, or we burn this mansion to the ground, with everyone inside." Amara's chest tightened. Sweat broke across her forehead. Then a sudden pain ripped through her body. She gasped, clutching her belly. Maxwell's eyes widened. "Amara, your time has come. You're in labor." The guards exchanged uneasy looks. The pounding on the steel door grew louder. Time was running out, Amara cried out, her voice sharp with pain. Maxwell gripped her hand firmly. "Breathe with me. You can do this." The headmaid hurried forward with towels and water, her hands trembling. "Sir, she's too weak. If we don't, get her to a hospital, both mother and child." "No," Maxwell cut in. "If we open that door, we all die." Amara's scream filled the room, echoing louder than the gunfire outside. She pressed her forehead against Maxwell's arm, tears streaming. I can't do this alone." Maxwell bent close, whispering in her ear. "You're not alone anymore." Outside, the Black Crows pounded furiously. Inside, the room held its breath as Amara pushed with every ounce of strength left in her. Pain tore through her body, yet something fierce ignited in her eyes. Defiance, survival. The unbroken fire of a woman refusing to fall. Minutes stretched like hours. Shouts grew louder beyond the steel door. Then at last, a cry. A baby's cry! The room froze. The maid lifted a tiny wrinkled child wrapped in white cloth. "It's a boy." Exhausted, Amara collapsed against Maxwell, tears streaking her face. The newborn's cry cut through the fear like light-piercing darkness. Maxwell's eyes burned as he looked at the child, then at Amara. "Tonight, you gave life. while they brought only death. Suddenly, the pounding on the door stopped. Silence fell outside. The black crows had vanished, but Amara knew this wasn't over. This was only the beginning. If you enjoyed this story, remember to comment, share, and subscribe to our channel for more.